Who's your favorite artist that you've worked with?
Mm,
What's your favorite song that you've produced?
Probably hard to beat Beyonce.
That's crazy. That is crazy. There's no other word for that. That's
Yeah,
crazy. That's
yeah,
crazy.
that's
Yeah.
just that is
Yeah,
insane.
it's Beyonce. Let's
How,
just
can,
face
Yeah,
it.
can you
It's
can you
Queen
kind of tell the story of how that came together?
Did you text her?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I ran into her. Now it's just this guy,
Right. What's going on?
Detail.
Mm-hmm.
He's a or I mean he still is. He's a songwriter producer
Yeah, I'm familiar.
in LA. Yeah, and he placed that one.
Sheesh.
And yeah, so that was really like they hit me up after after Bobby Johnson, and so I sent him some stuff, and that's how that happened. And so that's what I was thinking like earlier when you asked that question. Like when you see these names, it seems like something like you work, get that, work, get that. But like sometimes it's so fucking random, right? You do one thing, another guy emails you, then this happens.
You
It's
never know
sometimes like
which
it's
one.
so random. Yeah, you never know which one, and you don't know when. Like in hindsight, everything looks basically like it was meant to be or something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But like you're sitting there, playing PlayStation or whatever, and then the text hits you like about
Sheesh.
and Beyonce's manager text you. So looking back, like it's so random sometimes. So the best thing you can do is just really try to put your best work. And I'm talking about your best work, because there's so much music out there. So you gotta think about like how can you not only do good work, but like the best
Is your
possibly
chance. Right. To shine.
transcendence music that you can, and not just when they hit you up, but they are gonna hit you up because of that. So you gotta put that out there. And that's like when I started working with Q, definitely like Q, it wasn't like he was a nobody, so he already was bubbling, but he wasn't huge at the time. So yeah, I feel like if
It
you're
was a
trying to
hit or
make the
miss. You never knew which one was
yeah,
gonna pop. That's
right, but
crazy.
by doing our possibly best work,
Yeah,
it
it
got the
came through.
attention that it got. Yeah, exactly.
And did you what was the process for Beyonce? Did you make her a fresh beat after you got that email, or did you send her something that you had and you were like, this is the one that I've been waiting for?
No, it was just a batch that I already. Well, it wasn't definitely wasn't specifically for her. And like I said, like I sent it to Detail, and he wrote on it and stuff. So no, it definitely wasn't specifically for her. Actually, when I made it though, I was, if I'm not mistaken, right, because the memory likes to play tricks. But I'm thinking when I made it, I first started because I always start with the melody, and I tried something different with the drums. Something more aggressive, like Joe Johnson type. And I felt like, that's not really fitting. Let me go with something a little more mainstreamy, I guess, a little more,
Right. Catering for
Yeah.
everybody.
normal. Yeah, exactly. And I think I had the Drunken Love song as a kind of a reference with the
Sheesh.
with the heads and stuff. So
You did
so
it.
that's
You did it,
yeah,
boy. You
gets to
done
work
did
out
it.
right. Yeah.
That's a good one. And you said you were playing
Yeah.
PlayStation when you got that email?
I did. I was playing on a PC actually.
You
Yeah,
got to
but
frame that. You got to put that PC on the wall.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Good
That's the
luck. You can't get
one.
rid of that one.
I know.
That's crazy.
What would
Yeah.
how did can you kind of explain the night that beat came together? Like how did you go about making that? And like you
The
said,
the
you
the,
didn't know it was
the
gonna
7-Eleven beat.
yeah, and like you said, you didn't know it was gonna be a Beyonce beat. You originally sent it to Detail. So like you didn't make it with the intention of that being for Beyonce. So like were you
Yeah, I got different, but that like sometimes a thing that I do is like I start a beat and then I record. Like first thing that I do for almost all of my stuff is I'm starting out with some sort of melody or melodic rhythm or something, and then I always like record like a little beatbox or whatever and try to get my first spark down. Like that's my personal thing because I
Right.
feel like the first spark is really the best. That's the best it's gonna get. But if I start filling with that idea, it's gonna go downhill and towards mediocrity. So I'm trying to, have, you know,
Build
jot
on
down that first, exactly that first thing, and then I'm trying to, put that into actual sounds, like into heads, and snares, and percussion sounds, or whatever. And in that specific case, I put it back like for a month or so, so I could basically hear it as if I've never like it's new to me, right? Because like when you hear something over and over, you get used to it and you don't really hear it clearly. So something that I like to do is put the stuff that I'm working on away for a while, and after like 3 or 4 weeks, you basically forgot about it and you hear it as new. And so when you turn that beat on, does it hit you or doesn't it hit you? And I feel like if it doesn't hit you, then
it's
there's
not
probably work to do.
right.
And so you gotta write down, or just instantly start working on it and try to make it so as soon as because I feel like that is something that did work out with as well like Audrey Bobby Johnson, and also the 7-Eleven beat. As soon as they start, at least to me, like they are almost like in your blood flow.
Right.
I mean, to me personally, and that's something I always try to achieve, like that they instantly grab you. And in that case, there wasn't the with the 7-Eleven beat. Like I put it back like for a month, worked on it again, and I think then I put it away for 4 months, like for an even longer time, because I
Yeah.
felt like I was stuck with it, and I felt like it had potential. And so like after that long time, like 3 or 4 months or so, I opened it up again, and then probably I started. I think I exchanged the drums or something, made the drums, and yeah. So it took a little while, that one.
So how long?
Same same thing with Ojo Johnson, actually. Like I made the drums, they were kind of like it, but then like after 3 or 4 weeks, I opened it again and I restructured the drums a little bit.
So how long on average does it take you to finish like a beat? Like you usually just make a like you say you make a batch, you leave it. Like some of them take like years. You go back sometimes it's like years later.
I think the longest is like a year or so, but it's like in how long they're working it in actual hours, never that long. I'd say absolute tops. I mean, it is long. I mean, many people like make a beat in 10 minutes or so. I might work on a beat for 3 hours, in total, like over several months or so. Sometimes I might work on it just 45 minutes, then open it up a few weeks later, might do some finishing touches, might do nothing at all. But I'd say minimum is probably like 45 minutes or so.
Sounds about right.
Shit,
But
45 minutes or so over the course of a year and some change. Sometimes that's an interesting way of working though. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know many producers that do that. Like I've done it before. Like I've gone back, open beats and finish them. That like oh shit, I started this like a year ago. But like very rarely.
yeah. And I feel like it's like I'm not even sure it's 100% the right way, because you can overcook stuff and you can overthink stuff and try to make it too scientific, right? And try to make it
it doesn't
too
become natural.
yeah, and too objectively good, instead of just going with it. And even if there are imperfections and stuff and sounds that are a little raw or whatever,
Yeah.
it might still work out. But yeah, I'm still changing my workflow every few months or so, and every time like I'm 100% sure this is the way I'm working,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to change it again. And then 2 weeks later it's like
You're always
I was
growing.
wrong.
Everybody's growing. You got to change.
Yeah,
Change is good.
I hope so. I hope I'm not
Yeah.
chasing my own tail, but I hope I'm going forward.
I don't
Yeah.
really think like you said like you said you don't know if it's the right way. I don't really think there's a right way. If the shit comes out good, you know what I mean? That's the end
All
goal.
right.
Yeah,
It's like
quality.
however
That's
you
true.
get to that is your own way. You know what I mean? I think a lot of producers get wrapped up in like trying to do shit the right way when it's really like you just kind of learn the rules to break them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I feel like the right way is like, to me personally, is when you like when the shit that you make that is the best, that you feel the best about, and more importantly, other people like react the strongest to. I feel like that's when you're at your best. And like for the last 2 years, people like because like you can be wound up and think, man, I got the time of my life right now. Like the stuff that I'm making is the best I've ever done. and then like you listen to it a year later and it's doo-doo, you know, and like
Right.
everybody like,
Definitely.
and like to me, like personally, like the last 2 years, not good, man, not good at all. And
For
I was
you
working
personally?
a lot, and yeah, my beats sucked, like, and I worked a lot, and I did, you know, many beats, many hours, and I thought, you know, it was pretty good, but wasn't. And sometimes it takes like you know, some, like, to me personally what happened, because like, I mean, just if you take a look at my like IG page or something, like I had the, you know, 2017 was pretty good, 2018 start 2018 was pretty good, and then there was, you know, pretty much nothing. And that's because there really was nothing going on, like, in what I was doing. I kind of like thought, okay, I'm kind of like onto something here, but I also felt like this is not really it what I'm doing right now. And like then what happened, like beginning of this year, is like a good friend of mine. You know, I was sending him some beats, and he was like, "Yeah, that's cool, it's cool." You know, he was being polite,
Right.
and so, and then like in the middle of the night, he gave me this speech. He was like, "Man, on YouTube, I randomly like ran it, like the algorithm, you know, gave me Bobby Johnson. Man, this beat," and he gave me this whole, you know, emphatic, is that word?
Yeah,
Emphatic,
that's
like,
perfect.
yeah, emphatic speech about, you know, how he loves his beat and like how it gives him goosebumps, like all that type of stuff. And you know, I've heard that, not to sound like, you know, ungrateful, but I've heard that before. And after a while, like,
Yeah.
when you hear something, and to me, like, this beat is so far in the past, so I felt like, okay, this was a different time. This was 2013. The
Right.
sound, the musical landscape was way different back then. So why would I bother trying to, you know, basically recreate that sound, you know? So I'm not gonna bother. I gotta move forward. But he gave
Evolve.
me this, and yeah, and he wouldn't stop, you know, talking about. So I was thinking, man,
Right.
what if what if I tried to keep that energy basically and tried to put it into 2020?
Transfer it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, you know, and hopefully we watch this in 2 years or so, and you know,
And it takes
something has
off.
popped up,
Yeah,
right?
something
Exactly.
changed.
um,
History.
Something, you know.
but even if not, right? Like you can control that stuff. But I know, like, for a fact, and this is just, you know, more importantly, not me saying it, but other people that, you know, whose taste I trust. They say like what I'm doing is like, you know, really really good, like, you know, and
Yeah,
So that's
I
that's
up
the
to
agree.
par with
secret.
Joe Johnson standards. So, and so I guess yeah. So sometimes that's what it takes, and that's why, like, when I like something, I try to really make a point about really telling that person and really being, you know, sometimes a little long-winded about it, but really try to hit home that point, like when I really like something, because you never know, you know, what
How
you might
far it's gonna
change for the person.
right.
And like to me, that my friend, like he could have just said, man, that beat, you know, just send me a thumbs up, but go about his night. But he took that time out of his night, you know, gave me his 20-minute, you know, thing about this
Two
beat, and
Yeah.
cents.
to, like, I can say, like, even up to this point, like, it changed my life. So but yeah, I really like the stuff that I've been making like these past few months. And yeah, I don't even know what the question was. I don't even know if I
No, it's
answered something,
perfect.
but
No, that's perfect.
yeah.
No, that's perfect. I'm glad to hear your thoughts on a lot of this stuff. Um,
Yeah, so I guess like what to take away from this is like sometimes it might suck for 2 years, and you know everything you do is horrible. But I feel like if you fucking keep working, and also if this is something like you got a minimum amount of talent at, like I feel that's important too. Because like if I would have picked something different, like let's just say soccer or something, I would suck big time. But I
Right.
feel like
yeah.
I gotta like if there's a threshold of talent, like so to me talent is something like when you try something, it's not that hard for you and people seem to genuinely like it, you probably are somewhat talented at it. So if you pick something like that and you all right, you like bite in that thing and you do not let loose. Just
That's
do not let loose and
that's
try to
true.
work. You know, don't half-ass it. Don't just get your hours in or whatever, but fucking think about it and try to be, you know, do the best at it, whichever way you can. And then there's gonna be light at the end of the tunnel.
That's hell of
That's how I
advice
feel
right
about
there.
it.
That's crazy advice.
That's
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 not
great.
even just for making beats and music, bro. That's for life.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And sometimes like when you do realize like this is not for you, right? Maybe you just got maybe you really like it. Like to me, rapping, right? Like if I would
Mhm.
have been trying rapping for all these years, it'd be a pretty sad story up to this point, I guarantee you. So sometimes you just got to realize, okay, I really like this thing. Maybe there's another angle.
There's another way to
Yeah.
get to it. Right.
Exactly. Maybe that's not really for me. Maybe that's not really. It's about the like, how can you unleash the potential that you have in you?
I
You
could
know,
hear
how can
that.
you really connect? And if you do something and you're really great at it, you know that it's like to me, it's no amount of money can pay that. Like the way you can connect, right? Like when I hear like how people like the Odell Johnson beat, this is something money cannot pay for. Like this means a lot to me, and if you're able to do
Mhm.
that, it pays to find that area where you are able, under circumstances, to be able to do that kind of work.
Like I was saying, that's some life advice. That's definitely
Yeah.
some life advice.
And
Um,
even then, it might suck for a while. Like it might be really bad for a
yeah.
while. Yeah.
And bro, nobody. I mean, I'm not gonna say nobody, but it takes a lot of work. You know what I mean? The music
Right.
thing is something a lot of people try, and little people find anything in any part of the industry. You know what I mean? Not
Hardest
even just
business in the
rapping
world.
or yeah, entertainment. Period. Entertainment.
Yeah.
Period. That goes for all aspects of entertainment. So like the fact that you mean you've had the success that you've had and you're as humble as you are is just it's crazy and it's rare to see.
I'm still wondering about the randomness part, right? Because like just what I said earlier, right? With the random thing. Because like when it happens in hindsight, let's just say the Tesla stock, right? Like you
Yeah.
see it in hindsight and you're like, man, why the fuck didn't I invest? Because it could have gone the other way. In
Quick.
hindsight,
Mhm.
it's fucking obvious. When you look at Google at some fucking stock, it's so obvious in hindsight, right? But there's fucking risk to it. Only thing is that risk didn't materialize. But it might have.
That's
You know, it's
true.
it's
And
not
it
Yeah.
paid
it's
off.
not yeah, and so what I'm trying to say is like
It's 50-50
if
chance.
I guess I guess you can try to stack the odds as high as possible. You know, that's quality of your work. Try to not be, the biggest asshole in the world. Try to put the time in. And let's just say like you got real quality music, but you're only, trying really hard for a year. How are your odds gonna be versus your music is the same quality, but you put in 10 years. Now your odds are a lot better.
Yeah.
but
That's true.
but still randomness plays a part. Like if you got like 100 people, right? Let's just say they all make the same quality of music, they all put the same time in. There's still going to be differences. Some people are going to blow, some people are not, and I feel like there's still randomness, some stuff you can control in it. And I'm just can't say how big that part is, but and I don't even know what to take from it. I guess just accept it and try
Try
to
to keep
Keep the
enforce it,
ball
I guess.
try to
rolling.
roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, make the best music you possibly can, I guess. Yeah. That's to me what it always comes back to, because this is the thing you really can control.
Yeah.
Even with the business stuff, I feel like it's not worth losing your hair over fighting over a contract for one song or something, or trying to and that depends on who you are. But I think it's not worth it. Betraying your integrity, betraying who you are, and try to hang around certain people, try to please certain people, try to hang around certain crowds to get to XYZ. And again, like if that's who you are, and if it works for you, it works for you. But that's, I feel like, what you got to figure out in the end, like what works for you. And to me, the music is always the thing that you got full control over. That is the reason why I'm in here. So that's to
Yeah.
me always what it comes back to. Like just work on that. That's the point for me. Yeah. I'm just rambling at this point. I don't even know what the question
No,
is.
like I said, I'm taking it all in. It's all good advice.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, you have another question before I
I'm
ask
good.
producer questions?
Yeah, no, you're straight.
What are some of your favorite plugins to use? Just out of curiosity.
And
And are you
I
a FL
really
guy?
like
Are you Ableton guy? Before we get into that, I mean to cut you off. I apologize.
Cubase.
Are you
Cubase.
Cubase? Okay, that's
Yes,
mad
sir. Yes,
interesting.
sir.
That's mad interesting. I
Yes,
never really hear that one.
yeah, I did work with FL, like a lot of like 10 years ago or so, and then I switched to Cubase just because Cubase wouldn't crash on me. FL would crash on me if I loaded a certain amount of plugins, and FL would crash on me, and
He's
run
got to dip
unstable. And
out.
Cubase,
Oh yes,
of
thank you,
course,
Bobby Johnson. I appreciate it so
of
much.
course.
I appreciate
Thank you for
everything.
having me.
Yeah, we learned a lot. I'll see you on the next. I'm probably gonna see you later, Bobby. And you guys have a great rest of your interview.
Thank you so much.
All right, so yeah, my bad. Back to what you were saying.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, I was just saying FL didn't run too stable, so I just made the switch to Cubase.
What are some of your favorite plugins to use?
I really like the Sound Toys. Sound Toys, like their plugins.
Now,
Sound
I'm
Toys.
not familiar, but I'm gonna check them out.
Yeah, I feel like
now you said it.
they're probably my favorite ones. I really like. Do you know Valhalla?
No,
Like
I don't. You're gonna put me onto a lot of stuff.
Valhalla's like they got a good reverb and a good delay plugin. What else do I like? Fab Filter, right? It's very easy to use and stuff. I like Equilibrium, SEQ. I do really like the Ozone on the master. I think those are the biggest. I do like Isotope Trash. That's kind of, it's getting up there as far as it's pretty old at this point.
Yeah.
Like, and I've used, so it's kind of like kind of stale to me a little. But yeah, those are probably my favorites. But I did start getting into hardware effects, so I really like those at the moment.
You've been getting into some hardware and stuff like that, because I've been looking into like picking up like some hardware too and getting a little something different. Because I just use my keyboard, and then I got like Omnisphere, Nexus, some pianos and stuff like that. Some of the stock plugins.
Yeah.
And I do everything by keyboard, drums, everything, bass, literally every sound. So I've been trying to get into some other hardware. Like actually, you know what I mean? I have picked up a guitar, I picked up a ukulele. So I've been, recording some stuff into the mic and stuff like that and trying to play with those.
Can you play those?
I can play the ukulele. I'm getting better at guitar. I'm getting better at guitar. I'm not even going to fully say I can play the ukulele because I can't hit every chord right, but I'm a piano player. So it's like, it was kind of easy to just translate over once you just figure out the finger position and everything.
Nice. Okay.
So, but I want to get into some other hardware, like picking up some synthesizers and stuff. So what are you getting into hardware wise? Oh,
well, I got a Moog. I got the Sub 37, Subsequent 37. Moog is really like, I'm not, I'm still getting into this since like, it's been like a year or so. So I'm still learning. Like this was a whole new thing to me. Excuse me. But I really like Moog. I got a Korg Milo, really like that one too. It was a standout. And I got the, do you know Behringer? Like they did some yeah, they did the synthesizer clones, like they started doing that. So I got one of those. But I got this effect unit. It's called Heat from Electron.
Interesting.
That's a game changer to me. It's like a saturation box, and you got a distortion in the saturation, fuzz, and you can do like it's got an EQ too. So it's called Heat 2 actually. I think Heat 2. Yeah, Heat MK2. That's a really good one. There's this brand called Otto. It's OTO.
I think I've heard of that.
They got it looks really unorthodox. It's like a black box with it's not even like it's hardly labeled, but it just sounds like to me it sounds great. And you know, I got my little phases too, right? So I might think, okay, in a year from now, I might think it's not worth the hassle, because of course, like working in the box is way more comfortable, right? You don't got the whole cable stuff going on. You don't gotta go from the screen to the, you know, effect unit and double with that. It's, you know, it's way easier, right? But at this point, I'm thinking it just sounds. It almost got that sound like it's coming out of the speakers. You know, it connects with you a little more.
Yeah.
And it just sits in the mix a little more. But like I said, I might be saying the opposite in a year from now. But those are what I like right now.
I guess it kind of, you know, I guess it kind of affects your sound too. You know what I mean? Like something like OG Bobby Johnson might, you know what I mean?
Right.
That sound probably came together from just using like Cubase and a keyboard. You know what I mean? I might not be 100% correct, so I don't know how you made the beat, but like that kind of might be how that sound came together, where something a little more intricate, maybe. I'm not even gonna say intricate. That's something with a different vibe. You know what I mean? Might come from hardware. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and also, yeah, just a different impulse. You know, just a different. Even if it's just a new plugin that you really like. But to me, like back when I made OG Bobby Johnson, you know, Sound Toys, like the brand I just mentioned, like the plugin manufacturer, they got this plugin called Decapitator, and it's a saturation plugin. And back in 2013 or so, it was new to me. I think it was fairly new back then too. And like this made the bass the way it was, you know, really really saturated and really distorted. And so yeah, just having a new plugin you really like, and that shapes the sound might just, you know, be that spark you need at the moment. But also on the other hand, it might be that you, just like with the business side, like you might do too much and think too much about little effects here and there, and which, you know, effect unit is the best one for reverb. You might get too much into that, so you forget about, you know, at the end of the day, like which reverb unit you use might not decide over if your beat is, you know, fucking mind-blowingly good or just average. You know, this is not going to change that much. So at the end of the day, it's still about what's going on in here, and, you know, how you set it all up. And these are just your tools. So if you're a fucking handyman, you got a fucking hammer, right? Or you got a fucking screwdriver, right?
Yeah.
So there's good ones and bad ones, but at the end of the day, you fucking, you know, you screw in a screw. And so you don't gotta like,
don't
sometimes
get caught up.
Exactly, you can think too much about it. And on the other hand, it can be very you know, inspiring. But it's a balance to me. It's definitely a balance.